Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. So, before we get started, or whatever, let's get started. There is something that I'm questioning a little bit, right? There's a point where Poppy and Luna stop over. Poppy wants to sit there and offer the whole family an apology for pretty much Luna's behavior. So essentially, she wants to apologize for her crazy nut job of a daughter. And Poppy asks, "How is RJ doing?" And Rich is like, he's hurt, he's confused, and everything. And I've heard people sit there and say that, you feel really bad for RJ, and it's going to be very hard for him to sit there and trust people. And it brings up something. Is this the first time in RJ's life where somebody has tried to use him for either clout or money or anything like that? RJ is supposed to be this popular influencer, right? And you know how YouTube or Twitter or anything else goes. Anything in general. They gotta either use you for your platform or the simple fact that he's a Forster, they're gonna sit there and try to use him. So I guess my whole thing is like, granted we haven't seen RJ, so we don't really know what his take is. We're just hearing this from his parents or his dad's point of view. But this can't be the first time that somebody has sat there and tried to use him for whatever sort of gain that they feel like they can get from him. It doesn't excuse Luna's behavior, and it doesn't, it's not to sit there and say like, oh, he should have been more smart or anything like that. But I guess, seeing how he's been doing whatever he's been doing for a while, you develop a certain level of, I guess, tough skin or whatever. So, it's going to be interesting to sit there and see just how much he's actually suffering or how hurt he is or how angry he is or anything like that. Now, for the most part, this episode was kind of so-so. There's a certain point with Steffi and Finn where it's like the cringe level just goes off the top. I get it's a soap opera and they do the lovey-dovey sappy stuff or whatever, but like after a while, it's like towards the end, I was just like, part of me wants to fast forward it through, but as a reviewer, I can't really do that. Finn apologizes for the kiss, which again, I don't really understand why is he apologizing for somebody else coming on to him. I don't get that. I'm not gonna understand that. Um, and I think it's pretty stupid for him to sit there and blame himself for another woman kissing him. I just do. It's like, oh, if it wasn't for the kiss, then you wouldn't have left. And da 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 da. Yeah, okay, I get it. Finn, you want to sit there and blame yourself. It's stupid, but whatever. Well, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with that character. Okay, because even in a scene like this, it was like, what is it that you're really asking? There's a point where Katie's like, are you trying to play matchmaker? Because he's like, how do you feel about Bill? How do you feel about Dad? But then he brings up, listen, he hurt you and this, that, and the third. And Katie's like, listen, he's a changed person. She can't really answer that question. She can't sit there and say she wants to be back in his life or she's not back in his life. Um, and this is where the initial, she came across like she was really concerned and everything. And I'm not saying that she wasn't, but there was a huge part of jealousy that she kept sitting there lying over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why I was so hard on Katie, because I'm like, Katie, you had your chance to sit there and be with Bill. You chose not to. Oh well. Like, that's, you got to sit there and move on and take that L. Now, Bill and Liam, they're talking about the whole situation. And, Liam's sitting there asking, how you're dealing with it. And you can open up to me and stuff. And, I get where Bill is coming from. He doesn't want to sit there and think about it. He doesn't want to process it. He's the type of person that's like, let's just move on and move forward, because the more I think about it, the more stupid I feel for letting somebody come into my life and make a fool out of me. Bill is a proud man. He's not the type of person that really talks about his feelings and touchy feely and stuff like that. Um, so I get where he's coming from, and he does it. Liam brings up, listen, Katie was right, but Bill's like, well, Katie wasn't right about Poppy. She was right about Luna, but like honestly, to tell you the truth, she didn't see Luna coming. She only was sitting there looking at it from Poppy's point of view. Um, Now, of course, Liam's like, Katie's always going to be there for you, and this, that, and the third. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. Like, um, is he trying to get Bill to go back with Katie? Because I mean, he's been trying to get Katie for like over a couple years. I've been watching the show, and that hasn't happened. So now Katie's in this position where it's like she feels that he's finally changed. He's become a better man, and maybe she wants to try again. I have no idea. Um, Poppy comes over to Bill's place. And Poppy's like, I don't know where we stand, with my daughter and everything like that, given what she did. But I'm like, you don't know where you stand with him, but yet you was able to just casually walk in this man's place. If you didn't know where he stood at, why did you just walk on in? Why didn't you just walk on in there like like you still had a home? You know? Yeah, I understand that the bills just miles and stuff like that. You can say with your sister. You and her seem like y'all getting along. She's not being her usual mean, bitchy self, so you didn't really need to come over there. Now, Hope is not there talking about the whole Luna situation and with Brooke, and she gets to Finn. And she's like, Finn is a real hero, this, that, and the third. And Brooke is like, don't do this. Don't start with this admiring nonsense, because it's gonna go from that to you start to get infatuated with him again. And she's like, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep my feelings in check, and I do feel bad for the position that I put him in. But Brooke is not there having that look like you're full of BS. And I know because that was Brooke's history. Brooke wanted what Brooke wanted, and she didn't care about who got hurt. Hope is, in a sense, for some people, it's like you would have a little more respect if they were just honest about their feelings instead of trying to come across as this virtual signaling, I'm a good person, I'm a good girl, and I'm gonna sit there and just stay out of trouble, as opposed to being like, no, you want to be with this man and you don't really care about Steffi and her feelings, and you want what you want. I think that's why we despise a little bit in some of the bad girls, or the bad boys or whatever, but we like their honesty. And what Hope is like, she'll say one thing, but she'll mean something else. So the whole time she's sitting there talking about, I'm gonna keep my feelings under check. I was like, how hard is it to sit there and not be attracted to this? How hard is it to not sit there and get over this one man? You're in LA, okay? There is plenty of men you can sit there and date. They can sit there and bring in another person for you. But for some odd reason, you're fixated on Finn. I think you're really just doing that. Well, you're doing that, one, because you want what you want, and two, to get back at Steffi because, she's cutting your line. The line that has been failing since Thomas left. Which I'm just like, at some point, reality is going to have to set in. Like, as good as RG is, he ain't Thomas. Let's just keep it real. Um, I feel like that's about it for the most part. Like I said, this episode was so. You really probably don't need to watch the episode. You can if you want to do laundry. But Anyway, if I missed anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows: General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video.